Just last month, South Korean soldiers fired warning shots after North Korean troops crossed the border. And today, we're visiting that exact border. This is the DMZ, one of the most dangerous and heavily guarded borders in the world. With tensions between North and South Korea constantly rising, we wanted to see what it's really like to stand on this fragile line between peace and war. Oh, and remember, DMZ stands for Demilitarized Zone. You will hear that a lot in this video. We've got such a comfortable van for just a 55-minute journey.
From Seoul, it only took us 1 hour to get to the first checkpoint. We knew when we were arriving because we started noticing the enhanced security in the area, which felt very intimidating.
Now my name is Sophia. Now we have to wear this lanyard. I believe it's just to identify each other very easily, but we've made it to the first location. There's meant to be like an activity here that we won't take part, but if you can see up at the top, we will be able to get some views on our first views into North Korea. So in reality, today we are going to see what it's really like the border of North Korea.
This first stop is where we collected the tickets for the DMZ and where we were introduced to the history between both countries.
This is the most touristic thing we've ever done in our whole career, in our whole life. There are so many people here.
I thought you were about to say in a whole Korean life.
Korean life. Well, you can't visit this place without a tour guide, which makes sense. That's why there's so many tour groups. You wouldn't think, but inside of this, there's a bunker and you can fit thousands of people down underground. But we can't see it today, unfortunately.
So apparently there are signs, and also the tour guide has told us that we can't really take pictures into North Korea, which feels very restrictive.
It's quite weird because it's right next to us and we're not allowed to just turn the camera and show you guys. Guess you're gonna have to leave it up to your imagination.
This is a very historic train in the division of North and South Korea. And not only did it get bombed, but all the holes that you see are bullets.
Over 1,020 bullet holes.
Look at how insane is this. It looks like it's part of the pattern at this point.
We weren't expecting this, but since we traveled Japan, we got a stamp book. And it turns out there's one here as well at the border. Well, 4 different options.
This is such a cool memory now that we've got.
Did you see this? Oh my God. I don't think this would be allowed on the plane. It's a grenade bag.
Gosh.
What a beautiful view. I thought we would be able to see North Korea from here, but we are still a little bit far away. This is only our first stop and we have to move a bit closer.
I thought that was North Korea.
No, she said this was South Korea. I did ask. And you can even take a ropeway that takes you to the other side, but you just get nice views. You're not gonna go into North Korea with the gondola. This is where we are now. Once we finish in this location, we'll go through the Unification Bridge to get to the Dosa Observatory. And
So
that's
where we will be able to see North Korea, right?
And then the third tunnel as well.
Oh, we're going
So
to
we'll
the
get
third
as
tunnel.
close, and that's the border. So we'll get pretty close to North Korea.
In this location, they also had a very cool monument dedicated to the United States as they helped South Korea in the Korean War against North Korea and Russia.
So far, in terms of the tour, it's going really well because we got way more personalized experience. I've seen the other group sizes and they have about 30 people, whilst ours only has 10.
Guys, so we've gotten onto a bigger bus, and we're not the only ones. I think in this bus there's a bunch of mini groups, and we are right now going to go into the military zone, which is very exciting, nerve-wracking. We may encounter some military. Soldiers.
The soldiers are going to come onto the bus and check our passports. We're just about to arrive to the demilitarized zone, but something really interesting is that there are private vehicles on this road, and it's because people actually live in the demilitarized zone, just normal. Oh my God. Soldier. As I was saying, people actually live in the demilitarized zone, and every single time they come in and out, they have to show their ID documents, which is quite inconvenient. Oh, here they come. Oh, here they come. Oh, I'm scared.
This is officially us entering the heavily guarded area. Tension was building up. Although we knew that nothing would most likely happen, but we still had that adrenaline inside of us seeing all the security and soldiers around us.
Guys, we've made it to the DMZ. That was a bit stressful. It's the first time that we encounter militaries and everything was barbed wire. Like the security in this area is insane. But now in the DMZ, we are going to go into the third tunnel and we'll explain you about this story later on. Having said this, there's right now behind the camera, I don't want to be too obvious because it's a sensitive place, but there's a bus with very young military males. And it's very interesting because the guide was telling us that in South Korea, it's mandatory to go to the army and just for a period of 18 months, which is not bad, but it's very interesting because where we come from is not a thing. We are entering the third tunnel. We'll tell you once we come out what the third tunnel is.
A few inches later.
That was such a unique experience. Unfortunately, and we are dying inside because they don't allow you to record. They don't even allow you to take your cell phones. But what we are going to tell you, try and imagine it so you can also dive into the story.
We just went into the third tunnel out of 4, which were created by North Korea to try and invade the South. And this was post they signed the agreement of peace.
Yeah, so essentially they said, okay, peace, we don't attack each other. And then North Korea went behind their backs.
And started digging tunnels. So you guys can picture what we experienced. It was basically like an inside of a tunnel where you go with the car. It's the same kind of shape. And the further you go, the smaller you have to get because the tunnel just goes deeper and deeper and narrower.
Yeah. And it's so tiny that being my height, I literally had to go like this throughout the whole tunnel. It was very painful on my back.
And that's why we had to wear helmets as well, because you could just basically smack your head and die. The end of the tunnel was the coolest part for me because we can see into the North Korean side.
Hopefully we explained it well. It's a very interesting and cool experience that, you know, we've got recorded and now
this
for
is
the
also
memories.
the first time we ever tell you guys an experience that wasn't recorded because we tried to capture everything on camera. So I hope we did a good job at explaining. I can't believe we're about to leave without coming to this where we can officially cross to the North Korean side.
Let's see, give me a jump, give me a jump. First time into North Korea. Yeah!
North Korea!
Wait, let me say hi from South Korea. Hello!
It's all about unity.
If this is true that we actually made it to North Korea, I didn't think we could.
I think this is more to give us an impression of what it's like if you are on one side of the border versus the other side. So if you step there, we would be this close to each other. Countries that hate each other, so close, yet so far away. Boom.
So peaceful.
Drop the mic.
If you're coming to the DMZ and you are not sure if you're actually in the area like we were at the beginning, we were a bit confused. If you see the South Korean flag, I'm not too sure which that flag is, but
UNICEF.
The UNICEF flag. If you see both of them, it means that you are in the DMZ itself. If you only see one, the South Korea, that means that you ain't there yet.
Now it's time for the most exciting part of the day, at least for me. We are about to see North Korea from the Dora Observatory, which is just a few minutes away. So we gotta hop back on the bus.
Wow, there's so many tanks as well.
I literally just saw a tank being driven on the road, but it wasn't a massive tank with the weapon on the front. It was a tiny tank, like a baby tank. I think through our lifetime, this is the closest we'll ever be to war zone. We've got these triangles that are red and yellow, and they say mine. That means this area could have just landmines all over the place. That's why it's basically telling you not to cross, because you might just encounter a mine.
We just got off the bus. We are walking towards a pagoda. It's very interesting because it's very reiterated throughout the guide, the tour, that not to take pictures of North Korea.
Of the left side, oh, the right side is all fine, but not of this side.
Yeah, so to our left behind this, well, that's North Korea, really.
Oh yeah.
So behind the barbed wire fence is North Korea, and to the right is South.
We got catfished in the tour because we thought we could take pictures of North Korea, but she just told us we're not allowed.
We are in a theatre looking room behind the camera, which we won't show because it does say, if you take pictures, we will take legal action.
And so many people are just taking pictures, like the balls you have to do that.
But there's a floor to ceiling window and we can see the whole, not the whole, but we can see North Korea. Oh, the flag, the flag.
Oh, we can see the North Korean flag. That's the photo I saw on the freaking tour guide website.
I'm seeing North Korea through my binoculars.
That's how we can show you guys just the TV. Sorry.
It's quite a cool place. And Karen and I were speaking. It's quite weird how there's a theater room to just look into a country, right? North Korea. It's mind-blowing. I think that's what secrecy does. Just the willingness to find out more.
The sad part is though that there's supposed to be a second floor observatory, but we cannot access it. That means we won't be able to go to the outdoor viewing platform and actually get a clear view of North Korea. We can only see it through the windows, which is not really ideal. You won't believe this. We just asked the receptionist upstairs, close the door observatory, and she said, yes, military secrets.
Just like a normal day, you know? Can we
Just
go?
a normal day at work,
the
military secrets.
Planning the strategies over there, yep.
You're probably gonna get tired of us talking about this, but we are still in the DMZ area. And a few years ago, you were able to go to a place called the JSA. That's where you'd be face to face with the South Korean and North Korean soldiers.
That's where Donald Trump appeared once, I think, speaking with Kim Jong-un. Like, it's a very famous place.
But unfortunately, you can no longer do that tour, and you can even search it on the internet and the tour will still appear. It will just say not available. And that's because an American soldier decided to run into the North Korean side during his tour. And since then, the tour has been closed and no one else can do it.
At least we can record South Korea. This is the South Korea part. It looks beautiful. And to be honest, North Korea basically looks like this, but just add a bit of secrecy, a bit of maybe warning word, blinking.
And I would say it was less green. I saw a lot more just of the raw mountains rather than the greenery.
Yeah, it's more flat. I think overall it's been such an amazing experience, just learning a bit more about the actual history between both countries, which is something that we didn't really know.
It definitely felt scary being here, just that.
Yeah, there's always that tension there.
Yeah, like anything could happen at any moment. It's very unlikely that it will, but there's so much secrecy that it makes my heart race a little bit more.
Yeah, who knows? They may be building another tunnel right now. Just a reminder that if you want to do this experience, you can find a link to the activity in the description. So make sure to check out. As always, stop waiting and start living.